G'day, my name's Jamie Hazelden and I've been travelling this great country for many, many years. And what I want to share with you is the great places that I've been to and the places that you can only imagine of getting to. I want to show you and introduce to you some of the colourful characters, sit round a campfire and reminisce and talk about the journey and the places that we're going to go to. So come along with me as I share this journey with you.
G'day guys, well, Jamie here. I'm on another little adventure, something quite different to normal, but I'm in a trusty old Landy. Now I'm with Jeff Lewis. Now Jeff is from Seriously Series. Now he has done a lot of this area and I'm just coming along for a ride to go and explore, investigate, you name it. But Jeff, tell us a little bit more of where we're going.
I think that's a good idea, Jamie. It's nice to know where we're going to end up.
Yeah.
We're here in Western Australia and we're travelling from the gold mining town of Kalgoorlie. We're heading due northwest and we're going to be crossing the entire goldfields of Western Australia, then on to the Murchison and ending up in a region known as the Gascoyne. So there's going to be lots to see and we're going to be seeing some incredible changes in the landscape along the way, Jamie.
I am so super excited because we're going remote, very remote. We've got our own fuel and we've got our own water. There's no shops out this way. So we're going to be out here for a couple of weeks.
That's right. No Maccas at every turn, Jamie.
No, but we've already got the Macca's cup in the window this morning to stop the rattles, but that's okay. But that's all part of the Land Rover side of things.
That is. But anyway, should we get out there and do some exploring and take these wonderful people with us, Jamie?
Got to do it. Absolutely.
Let's make it happen.
All right.
Living out here would have been super hard because there's no high trees for good shade or anything like that. And water source, wow, where do they get the water source from? We'll have to try and locate that.
Well, what can I say? We've got to a place called Sandstone, or we're close by the place of Sandstone. This, behind me, this little bridge, they call it London Bridge. And I think it's quite absolutely epic. Now, imagining back in 1907, right up to 1913, through this whole area, there were 6,000 to 8,000 people living. This is basalt and it's eroded away over the years. But can you imagine a horse and cart used to sit up on top of there, and they actually run camels over the top of it once upon a time as well. But they used to have races out here and all sorts of things. We're in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Incredible, but I've got to look around a bit more.
One of the things I really enjoy driving the lesser travelled roads, I can't get over the distance between stations. There isn't nothing for 300 to 500 kilometres, and for sure there is no fuel stops out here. Well, with my Macca's cup sitting in the window, keeping a little bit of noise out in the old Landy, I'm yet again trusted in the driver's seat for the next leg of the journey.
Well, as you know, it's pretty important to have a watering hole. Well, this was a brewery in the middle of absolutely nowhere. As I was saying before, we're still in Sandstone Point area, but in 1907, an Irishman put this together. They used to pump water up to the top of it, and then they'd hold it down in here to have their beer. And that's to keep it nice and cool. And believe me, when I say you walk from there into there, the temperature drop is incredible. It's amazing. Again, you look around this vast area, there's nothing else around. It's incredible. You know, I find it really interesting. There's a sign just over there saying the vermin-proof fence. We all know it, commonly know it, as the rabbit-proof fence. Now, I've been to it in quite a few states, first time in WA, but this was completed in 1907 and it stretches 1,833 kilometres. That's a big feat, you know, when you think about how far that is. Now, they used to go and do an expedition of maintaining and checking the fence every 6 days. And they would do it on camels or they'd do it on push bikes. But you can only imagine that. And they used to do 70 kilometres in them 6 days to do the maintenance. But if you look at it, like I'm looking down here, it actually is fenced down on the ground here as well. So it must be pegged down. And then it rolls up so they can't dig underneath it as well. Pretty amazing, but check that out. Wow. Oh well, got to hit them tracks, more to come.
This fence has been replaced. It wasn't as good as this back in the day, I can assure you. But first things first, time to top up the old Andy's fuel tank. On this trip, we're carrying a fair whack of fuel. We've got about 160 litres in jerry cans of just diesel.
Always pays to secure your load. Last big trip I did across the Nullarbor, a couple of jerry cans got a bit too free in the back and they actually ruptured. And it wasn't a good look when diesel is in your camp oven. That took quite a bit of scrubbing to get that out. So a little bit paranoid, you could say, but it's always better to have preventative maintenance than a major repair.
And then we've got another 150, 160 of water that we're carrying in the front part of the trailer, so we can balance the trailer out. It just makes it that much easier. Well, as the day got on and we tried to cover some ground, the sun slowly started to set. Our next stop would be our camp for the night. But what an awesome day we've had.
Left it at the brewery, didn't we? Because we had to make those miles.
Yeah.
And I had the GoPros there, so we got some footage from that.
Yeah.
And then we can just give them a bit of an update where we ended up, Jamie.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well.
D&Ms.
I can't wait to go and have a look over here.
Yeah. There you go. Enough said.
Yeah. I'm a patient person, you know. Like,
but I was awake all night. You know. So we had a big day yesterday. We had to make a few miles after the brewery, and we've made our way north of Meekatharra, and we're actually on the Kingsford Smith Mail Run, Jamie.
Oh, that's right.
And we were chatting about that, weren't we? About the Coffee Royal affair.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different adventure we'll have to do sometime.
Yeah.
But Kingsford Smith ended up being a pioneer aviator. But he actually used to do a mail run up in this part of the world.
Right.
And that provided the funds to buy the aircraft. And I think, if my memory serves me correct, he was the first fella to fly across the Pacific.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that
I think so too.
that kind of aided his way
Yep.
into that different occupation. But we've camped here at a little outpost called Mount Gool, and Jamie is excited as I am to go down and explore this police station or police outpost that's here. And it's an incredible part of the world because we've got a mountain behind us here, which we'll show you. We've got a wonderful river down here too. We had a nice relaxing night round the campfire, but we've got more miles to make today, don't we, Jamie?
Yeah, sure do.
Yeah. And how did you find the travel yesterday, Jamie?
It was luxurious.
It was luxurious.
No, it was great. It really was. I really enjoyed it, actually. I really did, because, I mean, I'm not into the mod cons as in travelling in the outback.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like back when I did the Kimberleys in 2007 or 2008, 9, don't know when it was, I did an old Landy, no air conditioning, you know, and it was, we had a ball.
Yeah.
And it was just, it brought back so many memories yesterday. It was awesome.
With not having aircon and door seals that necessarily work all the time, whether you're driving a true FJ Land Cruiser or a Land Rover, it puts you more in touch with the environment that you're actually driving through.
Yeah.
Because when you get out of it, you're wearing it.
Yeah.
You've got the dust stuck to you.
You've got it covered. That's for sure.
That's it.
And you see, the younger generation just don't get it because they've got all this luxury straight up that they go and buy that car. There's no feeling in that car.
No.
There's no listening to the little air gaps and little breezes that come in and getting a wet foot when it rains and, you know, all that sort of stuff.
And there's no conversation starters. We had one yesterday. We were driving out of Meekatharra and Jamie said, I can hear a rattle. Is that the rattle or a radio? And we went silent for a bit. I think that's the radio. That's okay, the HF radio. That's all right. Because there's good rattles and bad rattles, as we know. So
Well, I fixed the first rattle.
You did
before we even left town
with the McDonald's coffee cup.
Yeah.
You know, that is the right thickness for you Parenti owners out there, just to slide in between the two panes of glass.
But it did. I nearly lost it on the corrugation.
Oh, it was touch and go. It was touch and go. But look, we have had a wonderful time, and we're going to go, as I said, down to this police station, have a bit of a look around it, and take you with us too.
Yep.
The objective of today, or where we need to go to start our actual work, is Gascoyne Junction. But we've got another wonderful 326 kilometres until we get there, Jamie. And I haven't been through this part of the world. You haven't either.
Oh,
no.
right.
So this is virgin
My
country for us.
encyclopedia is not going to be there.
No.
Crikey.
So we'll see what we find
Yeah.
down the track. So
Sounds good.
anyway, we've got some eggs in the ash of the fire that we're going to cook up and have on some toast. So we'll have our brekkie, and we'll catch you down at the police station there.
Good plan.
How good is that? It doesn't get any better. Crusty toast, nice and crisp. Egg, perfect. Absolutely perfect.
If you're interested to find out how to cook an egg straight on the fire, stay tuned for an up and coming video.
Fascinating. This is an old jail cell. That's a police station on that side, and it was built in 1888. We're in an area called Mount Gould, and it's very, very remote. 450 kilometres to Carnarvon from here, and nothing much in between, or either way. And you look at this place, it's all built out of mud brick, and they actually had 6 Aboriginal trackers here, as well as 4 policemen back in 1888. Because there was a lot of theft and there was a lot of sheep run through this area. So, pretty amazing. All right, I'm going to keep on moving along, having a look.
It's always interesting because you get into these remoter areas and you find grave sites, and of course there's always history of some kind. Now what I believe is this fella, he drowned here in the riverbed, but we don't know the full story on it. But if you do, please drop a comment down below and let us know what happened. Well, we're leaving Mount Gould now. Right in the background, as you can see from the drone, you can see that big mountain in the back there. Well, that is a working gold mine right now to this day. So they're still working up there, getting gold out of it. It's still one of those things when you get over into these desert country areas, the tree coverage is low. If you're trying to hunt for shade, there's never a lot available until you come into just different areas where the trees are suddenly there. It's just so vast and there's just not a lot of area for shade. You know, I always find it funny in the old landies. You know, you're sitting there, 2 of yous, can't have much of a conversation because you can't hear each other. Then when you can slow down, or you're not on a rough area, you might be able to yell at each other to have that conversation. But, you know, that's what makes it fun.
What do you reckon?
This is amazing, Jamie. What have you found here?
Oh, it's a gold mine here. It really is.
Well, it is if bottles are your thing.
Well, I'm finding a trend, but if you have a look at these lids, they just pop a hole in them. They don't take them off, and they must just guzzle them. And there's just bottles everywhere. But,
well, it does get hot out here, and it has been hot out here the last couple of days, hasn't it, Jamie?
oh, absolutely. But I tell you what an awesome place to come and just explore at the same time.
I know, because there's not just bottles here. What else have we got here, Jamie?
Look, I found cans now. This can here,
Yep.
it's even got dated December 17, 1958 is the expiry.
Wow.
So,
And what about the bottles? Are there anything telling us how old they might be, James?
yeah, I did find a bit of broken glass here on one of them, and it says 1924.
1924, so 100 years ago from now.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And-
And we're just to, I guess, tell the viewers at home, you know, it's not just a mile or 2 down to the shop, is it?
No, that's for sure.
The nearest town is Carnarvon, and that's about 5-6 hours drive, so a day's drive from here.
Yeah.
And it's remote even today, but 100 years ago it would have been something else. Hey?
But you know, you think about it 100 years ago. Like we've obviously got a mixture of two camps here.
Yes, yeah.
So-
two different eras, yes.
And we've got an assortment of different bottles and whatever, but
Yep.
the main one is a beer bottle, I'm going to say, and they're saying they're from Geraldton.
Yeah.
Geraldton, yeah, so.
And Geraldton's about, I'm guessing off the top of my head here, about 900 kilometres away from here.
Wow.
So that's a long way for these long necks to travel, and on rough roads too. But gosh, they obviously like a beer or two because there's quite a few out there.
You're
isn't
not
there?
wrong there, but I mean it's interesting. Like I found a few diggings over there.
Yes.
So they must have had a go here.
Yep.
Now, is this? Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the stuff we were looking for? You were telling me all about this. Now, this I find fascinating because it's just like film.
It is, and I think what's even more fascinating, taking a step back, Jamie, is it isn't gold.
No,
Because when we think about prospectors, we always go, it's all about gold, but it's not.
No.
So if I could have a little bit there,
Yeah.
Jamie. This is a fibre, or what we call a mica. And mica is basically the category of the mineral.
Yep.
And a mineral is the building block that's actually in a rock. So a mineral can be quartz, which is an easy one that many people know.
And what you've got to understand here is I'm the student and he's the teacher because he knows rocks, I can tell you that.
Yeah, we've been talking a bit about rocks the last few days. So this is called muscovite, and as you say, it's really, really thin, almost like film.
Yeah.
And it's almost transparent, and that's what gives it this sort of silver-like colour to it. And it's got a really shiny, what we call luster, and that's how it reflects. But these are actually called mica books because we've got all these really thin bits of film that are basically stacked up on top of one another.
Yeah.
And we can basically get our fingers and just almost strip it apart.
Yeah.
And it's because of this, what we call fibrous quality, and how it can be broken down into really fine strips, was what it was used for. It was actually transformed this fibres into making early insulation, like in electronics and stuff that was prone to a lot of heat.
Right.
And that's why we've got all the bottles out here, because back in the 1920s,
Yep.
this is what was used as insulation in electronics and etc.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And now that was before.
Oh, that's before sort of asbestos started
Yeah.
becoming used a lot more.
Yeah.
And then after that, we found that wasn't too good for us.
Yep.
And then we went on to fiberglass after that.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
It is.
Absolutely amazing.
I guess one thing that's really incredible is that this is actually found just in small isolated pockets, just within the rocks out here.
Yeah, right.
So they would have had to comb the entire landscape on foot, horseback, just hoping to find a pocket or two and strike it rich.
And when you think about the area,
Yeah.
how remote, how vast, you name it, dry.
Yeah.
Like, we've walked all the creek beds, or not all of them, but lots of creek
Most
beds,
of them.
and
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
dry.
Yeah.
So it's incredible. But another thing is how many tobacco tins I've found.
Yeah.
You know, I found tobacco tins everywhere.
Yeah.
But I found this one, a complete one, with
Oh.
the lid and all. So.
That is amazing.
But you see the little pin marks in it? Like,
Yeah.
You wonder what they were doing
Tapping,
there.
yeah.
Tapping there.
Who knows?
So-
But I can show you something else that they were doing, Jamie, just a little bit of the way over this way.
Yeah.
And this is actually really fascinating too.
Oh, wow.
Well, this is interesting, Jamie, because this gives us another glimpse into what life was actually like out here.
Yeah.
Now, it looks like a pile of rocks, but this is actually where they would have had their campfire, and this would have been the forge to sharpen the picks.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because picks back then obviously weren't tempered steel, so they blunt really easily.
Yeah,
so
right.
you'd want to actually heat up the pick, and then you'd actually want to tap it out and obviously temper the steel or harden the steel, so you could go back out and start, chiseling through this hard quartz, because it is hard stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen it with the smasher, with the hammer we've used over the last few days.
yeah.
How much it really chips into the hammer. you
Oh
know?
yeah. And you go to hit it and it just bounces straight off.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing. Would they have used it for the campfire as well?
oh, probably
The whole lot?
Yeah, probably. There's different types.
So
Or-
we should get a shovel and start digging and see what we can find.
Yeah, Definitely.
Sounds good.
Let's go get it off the branch.
Now look, I can see more stuff over here, so I've got to go and have a look over there.
I'll leave you to it, Jamie. Hopefully we have enough room in the Land Rover.
This is great here. I'm loving this.